Just like the forms of imaging discussed in The Transparent Body by Jose van Dijk, PCR analysis, despite not strictly being a form of medical imaging per se, externalizes the internal by exposing to view previously hidden parts of our bodies and detaching these parts from the human they are connected to. This process greatly affects the way in which we view our bodies in terms of how we view disease and the treatment of disease. PCR analysis is a method used to determine the relative levels of DNA or RNA in a sample. In my research, I used tissue extracts from mice fed different diets to determine which genes change expression based on the onset of arterial stiffness and atherosclerosis. Just like an X-ray can expose the internal parts of our body to provide new medical information, PCR analysis exposes to view one of the most fundamental building blocks of who we are: our genes. This process, however, detaches the animal from its body, in this case quite literally, by physically removing a part of our body to be used as a sample in genetic analysis. More than the physical removal, however, the information presented by this technique is detached from the animal itself due to its mediation through a computer screen and its limited scope of the entire body, much like in medical imaging. For example, an X-ray is restricted in that the person to whom the image belongs cannot be identified by the image alone. PCR analysis is even more restricted, where not even the tissue type within a person can be recognized without a name attached to the results to remind us where they came from. This process also changes the way we view our own bodies. Popular culture has us believe that our genes are stable parts of ourselves that we cannot control, but PCR analysis shows us that the expression of genes changes wildly based on how well we take care of ourselves. My mice fed a poor diet developed increased levels of gene expression in the critical genes responsible for high cholesterol, arterial stiffness and calcification, and atherosclerosis. Just the same, our own genes, and therefore our health, are influenced by our daily habits. Understanding that we can control our own gene expression through our lifestyles empowers us to take control of our bodies. Genetic predisposition to disease is no longer an uncontrollable fact of life, but a challenge to be faced and conquered through hard work and dedication in one's personal bodily care. PCR analysis, therefore, faces a paradox of sorts. It empowers us to take control of our own bodies, while at the same time, the very process of PCR analysis removes all power we have over our bodies. Once a sample is given, you lose possession of that piece of yourself. Although the information gathered might help you determine how to best prevent disease, the process of gathering that information exposes the private internal parts of your body to an external view.
So one question remains. Is the empowerment we stand to gain worth the privacy we will inevitably lose?